We begin our trip at Churchill Dam, Churchill Depot, and we're going to move up the river. It flows north. The great Allagash, very pristine, wonderful river of Maine. The Allagash River is located in the northern part of Maine. It flows into the St. Johns River, which is located near New Brunswick, Canada. We will move up from Churchill Depot, going north. The Allagash moves up into Damascus Lake. We will pass Damascus Lake because we hear there's a bear there that's been raiding the campsites, and we don't want him to rip our equipment up. And we move north into Long Lake, and at the end of Long Lake there will be a campsite, and it's a good campsite. We're going to try to find it. It's Sunday, August 6th, and we arrived at the Churchill Depot at Churchill Lake. We have this campsite and we're all tired. We drove 15 hours to get here, and then another 3 hours to travel down a woods road to arrive at this point. This is the dam at Churchill Depot, behind which is Churchill Lake. At this point tomorrow we will begin our trip, voyaging up the Allagash River. We just finished dinner and TJ put our frying pan into the water so the fish can pick it clean overnight. They'll eat every bit of it, and there'll be nothing to clean, but with a little soap and water the pan will be clean. Kurt, what do you think of the trip so far?
Oh, it's a real good trip here. Just having some potato soup here. Unfortunately, too much water makes that type of stuff.
What do you think about the climate here?
Oh, it's beautiful. Not hot at all. Nice and cool. Very few bugs.
It was really hot back in the city, wasn't it?
Oh, tremendously hot. Glad to get...
TJ's been doing a little carving over here. He's going to hold up a little sculpture that he made with his Swiss Army knife. Hold it up, TJ.
It's the voodoo stick.
It is a work of art, I can tell you that right now. Look at that.
It's the voodoo stick. It can tell the future.
All carved with a Swiss Army knife.
It's even hollow.
Yep, you can even smoke with it. We just arrived here and we have a visitor. We had a red squirrel before, and now here comes a chipmunk looking for some food. So for sure, we're going to have to pack everything up and hang it so the squirrels can't get at it at night. Kurt's going to give him the boot. He can move. Yep. He's climbing the rope. Smile. You're on candid camera. I think he's giving me the eye. What a face. Slowly running out of energy. I'm going to have to pick up this recording tomorrow when we start our trip down the Allagash River. Here's one of the old structures we found here at the Churchill Depot. Used to be a boarding house. You know, if you follow this trail down, it's a very interesting structure in this next campsite. They provide you here with picnic tables and some rods and poles where you can hang a bag, keep your food up off the ground. Look at this structure here on the left. Here's a typical fireplace, but look at the right. Someone had fashioned a wood sofa, and it's pretty interesting construction. It certainly would be a fine addition to any home. Tomorrow at about 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock, they're going to open up that dam and let a large amount of water out of Churchill Lake. The water will come rushing down into the river. It'll flow down and down and down. And here is where we will begin our journey. Always a lot of interesting plants growing out here in the woods. Blueberries are very common in Maine. Can be found near many parts, especially near the water. Bert's always out looking for wild berries. One of these days he's going to get drop dead from eating one of them. It's the following day, and the ranger just released the water from the dam. This will create a large water flow and rapids. We're going to go down that today. All this water is going to be pouring into the river, making it higher and making it move a lot faster. It's Monday. We're going to go down the Allagash River. The warden just opened up the dam, game warden, and the water's flowing out of the Chamberlain Lake into the river, creating swift tides, waves, rapids, and a higher water table. So we're going to go down from 7 o'clock in the morning to about 12 o'clock. They release this water, creating the water flow. And as you can see, there's a mist on the water right now. All our gear is wet from this mist. It was very cold last night. It was in the 40s, they say, or lower 40s with this mist, and it kind of went right through the sleeping bags. We're about to make a little breakfast and pack our gear and get out of here. We want to get an early start this morning. Kind of tired from yesterday. Last night when we were sleeping, something happened. Got up this morning. You see that white pail near between Kurt and TJ? Well, little mouse fell in there and drowned. Must have been looking for some food. Fell off the picnic table here. Right into the water. Poor little guy. Hey, baby. This is the third day of our trip. It's a beautiful morning. We've seen 3 moose down the river. Didn't get any shots of them though, because the water was too low, and we got stuck 3-4 times, filled up the canoe with water, Had to jam between rocks, had to free it. All our clothes was soaking wet. We hung them all up to dry. As soon as they all dry up, we're going to pack our gear and we're going to move down the river again. Maybe then we'll get a couple shots. I'm only on one battery. All my batteries got soaking wet and I think they're all shot. But I'm going to take whatever pictures I can and see what we can capture on film. There's a big leech there making his way in the water. A lot of these lakes have big leeches and you got to be a little careful, especially when you have a mud bottom. We have mostly sand and rocks here. Last night there was some sound like coy dogs or coyotes howling. Heard a moose this morning walk through the water. But the howling and barking was a little eerie. There's a bear, there's a Damascus Lake just a little bit away from here, and there's a bear that's raiding the campsites and ripping up tents. So we're a little too close for comfort, but we're not in the lake area. We're now going through Damascus Lake. A little breezy now, and it should lead us somewhere near Long Lake, which is a long, narrow lake that we have here. The campsites around here have been raided by a bear, so we were advised not to camp here. Well, this is the third night. We slept out, fourth day. Came down Long Lake. It was a long trip. We're all tired. We're up early in the morning because we have a lot of canoeing to do. We're almost at the end of Long Lake. We're going to do a portage at the dam, and we're going to move down the river again to Round Pond. We made it to Lost Poppy campsite, and we're going to head out of here soon and move down the river. It's a very bright morning. It's cool in the air. Very cool. We gotta get a move on. Lost Poppy campsite. There are a lot of trout here feeding in the water. You have to make a slight portage here, and these are all trout feeding. Well, had a fly rod, you can really load up here. The falls here, dangerous falls. So we had to walk around it. He's a big guy. A moose along the Allagash. Moving along the Allagash. Got a long, long ways to go. Yeah, there's a little rabbit here.
This is the first rabbit I've seen in a while.
The rabbit likes it here. We're at kind of campsite. All kinds of wildlife out here. See how close I can get. This rabbit's actually as big as a moose. What's up, Doc? And so ends the 4th day of our trip at Croquet Brook, a place that we took a nice swim, even though the water was only about 2 feet deep or less. It's a new day, and we're going to continue our trip to Allagash Falls. Now what Kurt's doing there, he's not making some artistic work. He's not going to make a little statue or anything there. When you leave the campsite, you hammer down all the old can stuff, anything that you ate out of a can, into a flat surface, and you put all those cans together, and then you take your garbage out of there. It takes up very little space. You know, a lot of time you track a lot of dirt into your tent and you try to get it clean. And for years we used to take pine needles, little pine branches and pieces of towels or a brush and try to clean the floor. But the way you really want to clean the floor is like this. Kurt's going to demonstrate. Just lift up your tent, give it a good shake, all the dirt comes out. 3-4 seconds, there's no more dirt in the tent. That's the way to clean the tent.
All right.
Just some beautiful country. Like the Moose River on our last trip, animals don't seem to be afraid. You can get really, really close to them. Nice glassy water, like a mirror image. You might want to paint something like this. Animals have it pretty good here, except for the winter time. It's really cold. We've reached Cunliffe Bank and we stopped to take a snack for lunch. It's a beautiful area. Some other canoeists come back and they also stop for a rest. Water's a little low here. We got stuck a few times. It wasn't as bad as when we first started and we filled the canoe 4 times up with water. Had to pull us up out with ropes at one point. But everything now is pretty clear sailing. It's a really, really beautiful place. Heading down about 3.5 miles, 4 miles, and we should come to the Allagash Falls. See what that looks like.
Stop!
There he is, there he is, there he is.
Shut up!
Heading for the falls. Well, we finally made it to the portage. We have to unload the canoe and do the carry to the falls, and we're going to camp for the night. Follow that river down and you're over the falls. TJ found a little toy there, a little souvenir he's going to bring home. Let me see that thing. Hold it up. Oh yeah, that looked nice in the house. Oh yeah. On second thought, I think we'll leave. This is the beginning of the Allagash Falls. Allagash Falls, pretty impressive one. Empties out. One time, thousands and thousands of logs went over this falls. Beautiful sight. And so the Allagash continues on. Tomorrow we'll launch our canoe and we'll continue the trip. All right. We're testing out these life preservers. They look like they're doing a good job. So just swim to the shore, side.
What?
Swim to the side there.
I don't do anywhere.
Okay. Water rushing into the falls here create these little sinkholes. They're smooth and they're round, they're pretty deep. Good place to take a shower. See it rushing in here. Really impressive looking place. All these rocks have little round holes in them. Loads of sinkholes. We're leaving the Allagash Falls. So the folks here loading their canoes, getting ready to go. Heading down the river to McGargle. This is the end of the Allagash Wilderness area. And the reason it's the end is because if they ever build the Dinky Linky Dam, this whole area will be flooded up to this point. And the Allagash here ends just as it begins. This is still all wilderness. Here comes the senior citizens group. They're all together and they have a couple of guides. And they're also taking this Allagash River trip. I don't know where they came in at though. There's the sign leaving the Allagash Wilderness Waterway. Well, we still got about 3 miles to go. Knock me over. That's all I need is lose my camera at this point.
Alright, shut it off.
Well, we made it to Bob's Landing. He's the fellow who drove us in. Now we're going to load up our canoe. This is Peppy, his dog. Whoop. Here he goes. Peppy is camera shy. He's a good boy, but he's a little camera shy. I know you feel. Don't bite me, Peppy. And this is it. Allagash Sporting Camp. Loading up the car and we're ready to go home. This is the end of the trail. From here it goes to the road and the Allagash River crosses into the St. Johns River. It's really a beautiful place. It's a beautiful trip and a beautiful river. I kind of think that it's kind of more civilized being out here than going home. And it makes you feel like you're in the wild and you're paddling for a while and a moose comes out or a deer. But it's really a beautiful place and someday I hope to return here again. Maybe you can come sometime too.
Okay, now we sing Happy Trail.